Ethereum spot ETFs. Let's see if this actually updated. Yeah, starting out at 26.12. Starting out a little bit negative, but we have 5 Ethereum ETFs that have launched today. Okay, we will see what happens. Ooh, all of a sudden, it just bumped up. So maybe some of the chop today, besides the flood that I mentioned, some of the chop could be Ethereum because a lot of people are putting money into it. Let's see. Ethereum is actually having this update. It's not really moving today. It's not really moving. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Today is the first day. Let's not forget when Bitcoin spot ETFs launched, you know, the first week or two, there wasn't much volume. There wasn't a lot of movement or buying. But then I remember, was it like after 2 weeks or after a month or something, that's when things really started hitting, right? So we'll see what the volume is after today. But today's the very first trading day, right? Just like spot ETFs for Bitcoin, once the cat is out of the bag, it's out forever. And for Bitcoin, it has been absolutely fantastic. For Ethereum, can we see the same kind of fantasticness? Yeah. And of course, Grayscale, they changed their model. So this makes me feel a little bit better because when they first said they were going to launch, they imposed like a really high fee. And then now they've removed it and they said that, hey, they have no fees for 6 months. That's good. That's good. So it makes me feel a little better that they're not just go dump all their ETH with this open. So we'll see. Ethereum price will be sensitive to ETF inflows in the coming days. Yes, just like Bitcoin, and it could be very, very, very good. If we see Ethereum ETFs have massive inflows just like Bitcoin, you know that institutions are buying and they're loading up and they're removing from the supply, which is absolutely fantastic. We will see. We will see. It's the very first day. Very first day. 920.7 billion under asset manager Hamilton Lane launches private credit fund on Solana. Well, that's always good. There's a lot of things happening in Solana. And, of course, Solana ETFs. Can it happen? People are wondering. Sold to 1,300. Yeah, I think it can happen. I think Sol will be higher than 1,300 by the end of this cycle. I actually do think that's actually pretty conservative. If you want to comment on anything I've said in this video, make sure you head over to the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a new social media platform created for conversations. And best of all, it's spam-free, bot-free, unlike here on YouTube. And you could have conversations with me and others like Altcoin Daily, Scott Melker, Mauro Nafal, and many others are joining daily. And you also get rewarded in tokens for doing so. So check out the new Roundtable. Click the link in the description below. And as for another chain that's very popular is Telegram. 950 million active users. Monthly active users. I have a hard time believing this. I really do. I don't believe there's close to 1 billion monthly active users using Telegram. I know that their click games are very, very hot. But I just refuse to believe there's 1 billion monthly active users. I don't think there's anywhere close to 1 billion monthly active users in all of crypto, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So I refuse to recognize this. But I do recognize that Ton is doing very well, and they have a lot of active users in their games. But 950 million, that just seems a little sus, according to the kids. Also, what's good is this. If you're looking at Bitcoin's price versus liquidity, global liquidity, okay, you could obviously see that since global liquidity topped out, Bitcoin kind of stopped moving. But you know what's about to happen? Global liquidity is about to skyrocket later this year and next year. This relates to what governments are doing around the world, including the Fed. We're going to get the very first rate cut. There will be a FOMC meeting this month, but it's virtually impossible for a rate cut this month. The next one is in September. We will get a rate cut in September, and that's when the liquidity starts flowing. In other countries, some have started the rate cuts, some have not yet. But overall, what rate cuts are going to do is allow liquidity to start flowing. It becomes easier to borrow money. Businesses start borrowing. And that's when the money starts flowing everywhere, right? And when the liquidity goes up, guess what? A lot of it gets put into assets like Bitcoin. So that is also something that is about to happen. You can see that there's a breakout happening right now, right? But when it really starts moving again, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. But in the meantime, we got a lot of charts like this. You know, we're in an ascending channel, and Bitcoin is just, it's heading up. Where is it going to go next? Well, it's going to go back to its previous high, about 73,000, formed in March. And then afterwards, that's when we could break into the 80s and 90s and 100s, right? That's pretty obvious. I still think something's happening between now and a few days. We will see. But overall, this is what's happening. We're going according to plan. Despite everything I've just said, which of course can accelerate things and make Bitcoin move in faster ways, or it could make it go higher. But ultimately, when we're looking at a 4-year cycle, Bitcoin is just moving according to plan, right? But we are a little bit accelerated, and we'll see by the end of the cycle if we get that huge top that we can't even predict right now. But if you're looking at this, we had our halving event, which hasn't happened too long ago, only 3 months ago. And you could see after a halving event, there's usually some kind of shakeout, some chop, where the big boys make you think, oh, nothing's going to happen after this halving event. I remember it happened in 2021. I mean, 2020, 2021, when we're going through something that we've never gone through before with the lockdowns and the pandemic and everything, and global markets were crashing, people thought the halving event wasn't going to do anything, that Bitcoin was dead. It once and for all proved that Bitcoin will not follow the previous cycles and cannot go back up anymore. And guess what? And right when people thought that it was over, that's when it started going up like clockwork. It's kind of the same thing right now. We may have to wait a little bit, or maybe we don't. We'll see. But Michael Saylor likes to remind everyone that Bitcoin is the only way to get ahead. So all the criticism that he took over the years about not buying gold, not buying stocks, not buying whatever bonds, who's right in the end? Saylor, right? And that's why so many are following him right now. That's why there's so many institutions and companies buying Bitcoin, because of the Bitcoin strategy.